When your silence reaches them, the distance they used as armor starts feeling like a room with no exits. This is exactly what I do, and I never realized it. That is the line many people never say out loud because it exposes the whole pattern. You stop texting. You stop checking. You stop explaining why you are hurt. You stop trying to prove that your love was real. And suddenly, the person who acted so calm, so detached, so untouchable begins to feel something they did not expect. Not love at first, not regret at first. Something more uncomfortable, loss of control, because an avoidant person often feels safest when emotional distance is under their control. They choose when to pull away. They choose when to reply. They choose how much warmth to give. They choose how long you wait outside the door of their attention. But the moment you stop contacting them, that system breaks. Now listen carefully, because this is the first hidden law. They may not miss you the way you hoped in the beginning. They miss the version of life where you were still available. That is different. And if you do not understand that difference, you will return too early, explain too much, and hand them the power again. At first, your silence may feel like relief to them. They may tell themselves, finally no pressure, finally no emotional demands, finally no one asking for clarity, consistency, or deeper connection. They may distract themselves with work, friends, scrolling, humor, cold routines, or another person who requires less emotional truth. But beneath that relief, something quiet begins to move. A question, why did they stop? And that question becomes the crack, because avoidant distance works best when the other person is still reaching. Your reaching confirms their importance, your panic confirms their control, your long messages confirm that they can stay silent and still occupy your mind. But when you stop, the mirror turns. Now they have to sit with themselves. This is the part no one wants to admit. Some people do not avoid contact because they feel nothing. They avoid contact because contact makes them feel too much. Real closeness asks them to be seen. Real intimacy asks them to be responsible. Real love asks them to stop hiding behind confusion, busyness, sarcasm. Emotional shutdown and delayed replies. So when you stop contacting them, you remove the emotional noise they used to blame you for. And now the silence is not yours. It is theirs. Imagine this. You used to send a message, then stare at the screen. And you used to reread their reply like it was evidence in a case you were trying to win. One cold sentence could ruin your whole evening. Yeah, I've just been busy. No warmth, no apology, no real explanation. And your nervous system would start working overtime. Did I do too much? Did I ask for too much? Should I reply calmly? Should I act unbothered? Should I send one more message just to clear the air? That is how emotional power leaks out of you. Not all at once, one reaction at a time. But when you stop contacting them, you stop feeding the system, you are no longer auditioning for basic respect. You are no longer placing your peace in the hands of someone who treats closeness like danger. And this is where their mind begins to shift. At first, they may test your silence. They may post something, they may like something, they may watch your story, they may send a message that feels casual, almost empty. Hope you're good, not because they are ready, because they are checking if the door is still unlocked. The reaction is the reward. If you rush back with emotion, they know nothing has changed. If you explain how much they hurt you, they know they still have access to your center. If you reply instantly after days of being ignored, they know your silence was not self-respect, it was waiting. But if you stay calm, something deeper happens. They begin to feel the difference between space and absence. Space is when they pull away and you remain emotionally available. Absence is when your energy is no longer waiting for them. And absence is what the avoidant mind does not control well, because absence removes the pressure, but it also removes the supply. No reassurance, no pursuit, no emotional proof that they still matter to you. No one standing outside their walls begging to be let in. Now the wall becomes strange because a wall only feels powerful when someone is trying to climb it. But here is where most people lose power. The moment they sense the avoidant person wandering, they panic and reach again. They feel the energy shift. They sense the person may be thinking about them. They see one small sign and turn it into a full fantasy, a view, a like, a late night message, a sudden memory, and they run back before the truth has time to reveal itself. Do not confuse curiosity with transformation. Curiosity means they noticed your absence. Transformation means they are willing to face why they needed distance in the first place. Those are not the same thing. An avoidant mind can miss you and still not be ready to meet you. It can think about you and still protect itself with silence. It can feel guilt and still avoid accountability. It can want comfort from you and still fear the closeness that comes with it. That is why your silence is not a trick. It is a test of reality, not a test for them. A test for you. Can you stop giving emotional access to someone who has not shown emotional responsibility? Can you let discomfort exist without trying to fix it? Can you allow someone to feel your absence without rushing to rescue them from it? Because many people do not chase love, they chase nervous system relief. They do not miss the person. They miss the temporary calm that comes after the person finally replies. That is not connection. That is emotional addiction wearing the mask of hopes. Now listen carefully, because this is the trap. When you stop contacting them, your mind may become louder than theirs. You may imagine them forgetting you, replacing you, lawing at you, feeling nothing, moving on easily. And because that image hurts, you may want to break silence just to stop the story in your head. But silence is where self-mastery begins, not because silence makes you superior, because silence forces you to stop negotiating with disrespect. You do not become powerful when they miss you. You become powerful when their missing you is no longer the thing that decides your worth. There is a scene almost everyone knows. You are holding your phone, the message is typed, not angry, not dramatic, just one more attempt to sound mature. You want to say, I just want to understand what happened. But beneath that sentence is a deeper hunger. Please prove I mattered. Please prove I was not imagining the connection. Please prove your coldness does not mean I was easy to leave. And that is where you must stop. Because the person who truly wants to understand you will not require you to bleed in perfect grammar before they care. One clear action step. Before you contact them, write the message in your notes. Then ask yourself one question. Am I sending this from self-respect or from emotional panic? If it is panic, do not send it. Walk, train, pray, clean your room, drink water, sit with the feeling until your body learns that urgency is not a command. That one pause can save you from handing your power to someone who only returns when your emotions are easy to access. The avoidant mind often expects you to break first, not always consciously, not always cruelly. But patterns have expectations. If you always explain, they expect explanations. If you always chase, they expect pursuit. If you always forgive without change, they expect access without effort. Your silence interrupts the pattern. And when a pattern is interrupted, the real person appears. Some will become softer. Some will become angry. Some will act indifferent. Some will return with vague warmth, hoping you will do the emotional labor again. Some will disappear completely because your boundaries removed the version of you they knew how to manage. Do not fear that. When silence removes someone, it was not destroying the connection, it was revealing the cost of keeping it. This is the second hidden law. Avoidant people are often not afraid of losing someone at the moment they pull away. They are afraid later, when they realize the person they pushed away is no longer emotionally standing there. That delay is what confuses you. You felt everything immediately. They may feel it later. You cried while they were distracted. You processed while they were numb. You questioned everything while they acted normal, but when your energy truly leaves, the delayed impact begins. They may remember how safe you made them feel. They may remember how much you accepted. They may remember the way you showed up when they were inconsistent. But memory alone is not maturity. And this is where you must become very honest. If they come back because they miss comfort, they will leave again when closeness asks for courage. If they come back because they fear losing access, they will behave until they feel safe enough to withdraw again. But if they come back with awareness, accountability, and changed behavior, then the conversation becomes different. Not perfect, different. And you will know the difference by the weight of their actions, not the beauty of their words. A person who is ready does not only say, I miss you. They can say, I understand what I did. They can say, I pulled away instead of communicating. They can say, I do not want to keep repeating this. And then they show it without making you beg. That is the standard, not punishment, not revenge. A standard because you are not here to become cold. You are here to become clear. There is a dangerous phase after being ignored. You start mistaking calm for cruelty. And you think, if I do not reply, I am being mean. If I do not explain, I am being immature. If I do not give them another chance, I am becoming like them. No, emotional control is not cruelty. A boundary is not abuse. Silence is not manipulation when it is used to protect peace. Stop over-explaining and leave a pattern that keeps injuring you. Manipulation tries to control another person. Self-respect controls your own access. Learn the difference. Because toxic dynamics survive when you feel guilty for protecting yourself. They survive when you believe your pain must be explained perfectly before it becomes valid. They survive when you keep offering warmth to people who only recognize your value after they feel your absence. The avoidant mind may wonder, it may miss, it may replay, it may compare, it may feel the strange pressure of your silence. But your life cannot be built around what may be happening inside someone who would not communicate clearly when they had you. Your job is not to monitor their mind. Your job is to master your own. Stop checking for signs. Start checking your standards. Stop asking, do they miss me? Ask, did I disappear from myself trying to keep them? That question will hurt, but it will also free you, because the deepest loss is not when someone stops contacting you. The deepest loss is when you keep contacting someone who teaches you to abandon your own dignity. And once you see that, silence changes. It no longer feels like a tactic. It feels like a return. You return to your body, your focus, your work, your sleep, your discipline, your ability to think without waiting for a notification to decide your mood. You stop living like your nervous system is a room they can walk into whenever they feel lonely. You lock the door with calm hands, not angry, not bitter, awake. And one day they may feel it. They may feel that you are not waiting the same way. They may feel that your energy is no longer leaning toward them. They may reach out, they may not. But by then, the power shift has already happened, because the real victory was never making an avoidant person chase you. The real victory was becoming someone who no longer chases anyone back into their own confusion. Your final truth is simple. When you start contacting them, you do not just enter their mind, you exit the version of yourself that needed their mind to be peaceful. So tonight, one thing. Do not send the message that comes from fear. Let silence teach your nervous system that you can survive without begging for clarity from someone who created confusion. And once you understand what your silence reveals, the next lesson becomes even sharper. Because the people who lose access to your reactions will soon show you exactly who they were when they thought they still controlled them.